Hello, or should that be bonjour? We're in the Alps. Everyone's up in the mountains skiing, and Margot and I doing what we usually do, which is just chilling out in the chalet and doing a bit of knitting, watching podcasts, tidying up, washing, hoovering, all the usual things that we do at home, but kind of feels a bit nicer. And I've been having afternoon naps, so that's been lovely. Just been to the vets with Margot because when you bring a dog out to France to return to the UK, they have to have had a worming tablet. So she's just had the best time of her life because a trip to the vets in AIM always means big lump of cheese. Little does she know there's a worming pill in there. Anyway, that's that done. And thought since I've got back here and no one's home and I was too late to get up the mountain to intercept the boys, which means they've gone off with Dad, with Toby, I thought I might do a quick podcast. Although I don't know about this podcasting thing, if I'm honest. I like it. I like doing it. I like watching them. I like having one of my own. But, well, basically, the only person that knows about this really and watches it is my husband. And he said to me the other day it's boring and that he's only watched 10 minutes and just me sat talking at the camera was just really boring. But that's what podcasters in the knitting crafting community do, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I haven't found my way yet. So, sorry love, here's going to be another boring one for you to enjoy. What have I been up to then, knitting wise? I feel like I've been knitting a lot, but I haven't actually managed to knit a lot, if you see what I mean. I have finished the back of my linear tunic here. So it should be, Margot, you're a pain in the bum, move out the way. I don't know if you'll be able to see this if we go back on the sofa a little. So it'll go there, up to my shoulders, have a neckline, and then it'll come down to about there, and it'll look, really, it's looking a bit royal blue on the camera, but it will go quite well over this stripy top that I wear all the time, which will give it a little bit more life. Because I think everybody, including myself, is bored of seeing me in this stripy top. And there we go, there's just the start of the front. Well, it's a bit silly because the back says knit until it's 31 centimetres or whatever long, and then the front says knit until 24 rows below the armpit increase of the back. Well, I suppose I should have written down each row that I'd done. I'm going to have to count them now. Never mind, didn't think of that, did I? The other thing I've been knitting is something to go along with Jules So Sweet Violet's Be Happy Along that she's started to host on her podcast, and it's going to run for the duration of April. And I'm doing this, well, it looks like a rag at the moment, but it's blowing out. It's the Honey Cowl by, I can't remember, it says somebody different on the pattern I printed out to what it says on Ravelry. It's Andrea somebody, Honey Cowl in Ravelry. It'll pop up with a blue thing looking a bit like that. I am not loving knitting this. A couple of reasons. One, I'm doubting my choice of colour now because this is a very snowy cream. It's not quite white. I love the yarn, it's gorgeous. It's Rialto double knit superwash merino. So it's perfect really, because if you think that you need it to be superwash, if it's going around your neck, and I wear quite a bit of foundation because I've got troubled skin. I've got a lot of pigmentation from sun damage and from pregnancies. So I wear, not all the time, but quite often, a camouflage makeup by a company called Veil. My doctor referred me to the Red Cross camouflage makeup unit when my skin was at its all-time low, when it literally looked like somebody had thrown tea bags at me, and I had a big brown mark here and brown marks here, and just, it looked really strange. So having this in this white colour, if it was hand wash only, that would be foolish. So having a super wash, Debbie Bliss Rialto Debonit, is really genius, I think. Anyway, look, my skin isn't too bad at the moment. I've got spot scars, but the actual skin, not to, I've got a bit of a funny thing going on here. Not to worry, could be worse, could be cancer, but it's not. It's just naughty skin, not ill skin. I haven't got a very good setup here today. In fact, do you want to see it? There we go. That's a steamer and a candle. And that's what I'm balancing my phone on. That's what I'm recording with. I can't remember what I was saying, but the phone rang. It was Toby, and it literally made me jump 4 foot off the sofa. I'm wondering if the camera caught that, or if it cut off the second that the call came through. So I can't remember what I was saying. Had I moved on from my skin, or was I talking about the cowl? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. So this thing, I am enjoying being joining in with the Be Happy along that Jules is hosting. I'm kind of enjoying that. It's making me find my way around Ravelry. Around Ravelry. So that's good. And it's nice to see what everybody else is doing and to join in with the community. And that's the thing that I absolutely adored about having a blog, was how we all were buddies together and interacted together. And there was, if you had a question, somebody could answer it for you. If you ran out of wool, you could put a shout out and somebody would say, "Oh, they've got that in my local yarn shop, I'll get that for you." It was just lovely. And Instagram, to a lesser extent these days, I find is very similar. I say a lesser extent these days, I think it's because I've been on Instagram for 4 or 5 years now. I follow so many people, probably about 800 people, and I have a lot of followers now. Well, not compared to a lot of people, but to me, about 3,000 or 4,000 followers, and I think a lot of them are probably spammers, robots or something. They're not real people. But anyway, there's not the sort of interaction that there used to be. There used to be a hardcore group of about 100 of us who would always chatter and comment, but it's grown. It's become less personal. It's less of a village and more of a city now, which is lovely. But I think to join in with an along, which is run by a blogger, Instagrammer, or a podcaster, it's just a really nice way to get back into the throes of things. So that's why I'm joining in, really. The other reason why I'm not loving knitting this is because I don't really like these needles with this yarn. They seem a bit sticky. They're plastic Knit Pros. They're the interchangeable ones. They do keep undoing here a little bit, but nothing too major. But the yarn isn't sliding along these very well. But I'm using my wooden Knit Pro tips for my tunic. I suppose I could just unscrew them, couldn't I? I could just... yes, you idiot. What a moron. I can just unscrew the ends. Swap them round. Oh my god. Oh my god. Genius idea. Did you hear that? That was Margot, not me. She's going... Hear that? Might be too quiet for the phone to pick it up. Right, so what else can I tell you about? What else do I want to record for posterity here? Ooh, this month's Country Living magazine has got a whole article on edible flowers, which is brilliant because it means it's in fashion this year. And I love it when something that I want to do becomes a popular thing. I love it and hate it, actually. I love it because it makes it easy for me to find everything I need to find. It means that all the edible flowers will be proliferate in all of our local garden centres, so that's wonderful. And it means that there'll be loads of information on, people will be just snapping photographs left, right and centre on Instagram and blogs and what have you. Sorry, I'm having a milky coffee. It's actually surprisingly nice. We ran out of milk and we only had UHT in the shop at the tiny little Sherpa at the top of the road. So I'm having a hot UHT instant coffee. Isn't that minging? It's actually quite nice. Yeah, so I will be planting, I'm not very good at growing vegetables, you see. I'll be planting edible flowers and salad this year. That's going to be my thing. I'll still do potatoes and runner beans. But that's it. I'm not even bothering with tomatoes unless I get given a plant. I'm not bothering with melons, again, unless my father-in-law gives me a plant. And I'm certainly not bothering with courgettes because they just go fungusy, powdery, mildewy, regardless of what I do to look after them. So, and then that just spoils everything. So I'm not going to do that this year. I'm not going to do a lot in the garden this year because I just find I work really hard on it, run out of steam, and it all goes a bit pants anyway. So I'm going to focus on the back kitchen courtyard and the pots, and I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. Who sees it anyway? Just us, and we love it as it is, so that's fine. What else can I talk to you about now? Again, a ballad? What do you want to hear from yourself in a year's time? Can't think. Boys have been doing really well in their ski lessons. Wilfred was in the Flocon group, which is one up from the Pew Pew, but he's done so well this week that he's skipped the Flocon group and they've gone straight to 1 star, so he's delighted because he's got this 1 star, which means the next group he'll be in at Christmas time will be 2 star, and he's so fearless. I think that he's just going to fly through it, and that's really lovely for him because he struggles academically with the reading element of schoolwork. It's a real slog for the kid. So for him to excel at something that's quite cool, well, it's brilliant, isn't it? How lovely. The other two are like maniacs. Toby's just loving being up the mountain with them and skiing. It does make me think I ought to get back on my skis, but I had a horrible experience several years ago now, and it's just totally put me off. And now that my ski buddy has died, I have even less desire to go up the mountain because I won't have her to... She used to cut a really beautiful line down the mountain, and she made it feel easier than it was. I could never keep up with Toby and James. They were just too fast, but Kate just used to elegantly go down the mountain, so... I don't want to do it without her. Not yet. Pull myself together. God, it's hard, isn't it, when someone dies? You just miss them in a very painful way. Gosh, this is not much fun to watch, is it? Just going to pause and compose myself. So because I'm away from home, I don't have a lot of all the crafty things that I really would have liked to have shown here. But, and I'm going to keep this podcast quite short, I'll insert a few pictures of where we're staying, where the chalet is, and of the chalet because it's gorgeous. I'm really proud of it. Really proud of my husband because he took a punt on a guy last year, and they decided that they were going to build this chalet. Him and Matt, the builder, and Matt's best friend Seb, the architect. And basically, without Toby having the confidence in them and being able to get a mortgage in France, they wouldn't have been able to start the build, and they just needed a leg up. They just needed somebody to believe in them. So we now have this amazing chalet. It's beyond wildest dreams. Honestly, just feel so lucky. Anyway, I should show you the beautiful pictures of this lovely gaff, because I reckon it's going to get trashed in about 2 years. It's just, well, it's home from home. You know what that means. You put your feet up, don't you? So things just get used and lived in, which is exactly as it should be. So before I go properly, I want to talk about a weekend away that I had a couple of weekends ago with my friend Leonie. Leonie and I used to fly together. Basically, I used to fly for Virgin Atlantic, and I was on standby one day, and I had a call saying, Gaynor, you are being called out on the San Fran flight. Get here for 1 o'clock. Anyway, there was an accident on the M25, and I arrived at 2 o'clock. They said, you've been bumped off San Fran because it's about to take off. You're going to LA now. So I ended up getting taxied airside to the aeroplane, and I walked up the steps just as they pulled the jet finger away. So I walked up, they put some steps up, so I walked up the steps, and Leonie was there, and she said, hi, I'm Leonie, I'm on the end of your cart, I've done all the pre-flight checks for you, cup of tea waiting in the galley, we're gonna have a great time when we get there. Let's get going. So anyway, we took off and we had such a lovely flight together. It was so nice. And then we got to the hotel, and it turned out that our rooms were right next door to one another. And she said, oh, I wonder if we've got an interconnecting door. We didn't. So she just said, oh, I've got 2 beds. Come and bunk in with me. So I'd known this girl, 10 hours? Bunked in with her. Just had the loveliest couple of days, 48 hours trip it was. We had a really, really good time, just so good. And when we got back, we said, right, we've had such a nice time, let's request a trip together next month. And so it went on that for the next 2 years, we had a flight together every month. And also every month, she lived in Essex, I lived in Somerset. She would come and stay with me between flights, or I would go and stay with her between flights. And we just brewed a beautiful friendship, really lovely. So now that neither of us fly, we only get to see each other once a year. We've both got 3 children. We live 4 hours away. It's not easy to just the logistics of it. Her kids, one of them's 14 now, and her youngest is just a little bit older than Wilfred. So she's got a much more busy life than me, because she's literally pulled from pillar to post, and also she's got 2 boys and a girl. And I think that for me, having the 3 boys, they want to do the same thing roughly at the same time. So it's our exploits where they're kind of condensed into one thing, whereas Leonie has to split herself in all directions. So what we do now is we have a weekend together once a year. And this year, we went to London. And we just had the best time. As usual, but the things that I wanted to, the one thing in particular that I want to put here is that we were walking out of Shoreditch Tube, and Leonie had been saying, ooh, let's look out for stars. I like to see if I can find any celebs around. And then she went, oh my gosh, look, it's Bill Nighy. And I looked, and there was Bill Nighy. And she, bold as brass, just walked up to him and went, "Hi, Bill, can we have a selfie with you, please?" And he looked at her and he looked at me in a split second. She just sort of like looked at us and he just went, "Of course you can, darling." Oh my God. He put his arms around me and Leonie. Just such a gentleman. He's so lovely. That kind of sounded a bit less vicious, didn't it? "Of course you can, darling." He wasn't like that at all, and he only looked at us, not like, "Oh yeah, there's a couple of blonde girls, all nice," because we were really like, we'd just had a massage, we were just minging, and but it was just in a sort of friendly kind of like, rather than just going, yeah. He acknowledged us properly. That's what I mean by he looked at us. It wasn't anything more than that. Oh God, what am I saying? I'm digging a hole here. There's no hole to be dug. Anyway, later that evening, we went to, I'm trying to remember what it's called, Pizza East. Had something lovely to eat. Found out that there was a disco-y type bar thing downstairs. We went down there and there was Claire and Faye from Steps. Leonie ended up talking to Faye about the exit and how to get out. And yeah, it was just really funny. It's weird when you see people off the stage, I mean, off the screen. Claire and Faye were tiny. I mean, dinky, put them in your pocket and walk around with them tiny. And really very beautiful. The credit is not done to them, if that makes sense. And Bill Nighy is every bit the charismatic bloke. It just oozed from him. He was walking along, carrying a book, just looking very content and comfortable, and just megastar. Lovely bloke. I loved it. It was absolutely wicked. It was really, really good. We had a fab weekend. We ate far too much. We drank far too much. We walked miles and miles and miles. We went to Lauderay and had macaron. We had a walk in back rub in Covent Garden. Oh, bloody lovely. We went to... Oh, why is my memory so bad? I can't remember what it was called. This place we had moule and frites. Botagos. Began with a B. In Covent Garden. It was really... Actually, Leonie's was really, really lovely. She had Thai mussels. I just had your Communal Garden moule marine. Yeah, I can't speak French. Mine was a bit nondescript. But it was nice, but just didn't blow my socks off. Botagos is what... Oh, that's going to bug me. I'll look it up and put it here. Possibly, might not be bothered. And Pizza East was amazing food. We had these donuts, cinnamon sugar coated donuts for pudding. They were light as air. You put them in your mouth and they just went, oh my goodness, they were lovely. Delicious. And we had some cocktails at the Hoxton. I love that place. It was far too noisy for us though, so we came back to our hotel, which is Citizen M. That was a really quirky little place. And it was like, the rooms were a bit like caravans, like really modern caravans. It was so chic in a very minimalistic way. It was brilliant, really, really good. And we also had breakfast twice at the Hoxton. They do this avocado and eggs thing. Oh my goodness, so delicious. Dreaming about that. Although, I'm not dreaming about food today, because for the last 7 days, all I've done is eat all the carbs, drink all the wine. And last night, finally, I sat at the table and I just said, that's it. I've broken my stomach. I can't put anything else in my body at all now. I'm probably not going to eat all day tomorrow because my tummy's broken. Well, I've had some peppermint tea and I've had some yoghurt and blueberries, and honestly, stuffed to the brim. I feel like I've got food from my boots to the top of my head. Absolutely stuffed. But then that's what a holiday in the French Alps is all about, no? all about the food. I'm going to go now because I'm waffling and I can't think of anything else that I have to say currently. And I'm just going to edit this, well, maybe put a few bits along here somewhere and put it out there for no one to see, apart from my husband who says I'm boring. Well, not me, he's not bored of me. That is a funny joke in our marriage. He once said to me about 4 years ago, he went, "Do you know what's really funny, darling?" I said, "What?" He went, "I'm not bored of you yet." And he meant that in all honesty. He gets bored of everything. He gets bored of his job. He's stuck with that. He gets bored of his car, changes that all the time. He just gets bored of stuff. He just gets restless. But he said, "I'm not bored of you yet." So that's good. And apparently he's still not bored of me, but he does find my podcast boring. And he thinks it should be of a very different format. But this is just for me, really. And when I feel brave enough, I probably will tell other crafting podcasters about it. I'll probably just tell all my old blog buddies that I'm not blogging anymore, I'm podcasting instead. So come see me there. That would be nice. That would be a nice thing to do. They'd be supportive. I might tell my very first blog reader, Sandy, who's my dear friend in Australia. I might tell her first. I love her. I can't wait. One day I will meet Sandy. And I think I'll cry. Yeah, because I'm a bit of a soft sap. You've seen that already. Okay, so I'm off now. Cheerio, toodaloo, dally-ho.